It's our pleasure to have a chat to Bill Barnett from C9hotelworks.com. If you ever need to know anything about the hotel industry in the region, this is the go-to man. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tim. Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Well, what's the current situation? I mean, obviously the hotels have been massively affected.
I mean, well, anybody who can say what the current situation gets a bonus, because right now let's just say it's a fluid situation. There's been a lot. We've gone from the Phuket model, and now we've gone to a tourist visa, which is going to be an extended visa. We're still waiting for the rules. Without the rules and without really the implementing guidelines, it's still a pretty uncertain situation. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now.
There's a group like the Phuket Hotels Association, there's the Thailand Hotels Association. Are they getting together with the tourism authorities and with the government to try and come up with a model?
Well, I mean, you can do a model, but don't forget that, all things emanate from Bangkok, and there's interministerial issues as well, because for a tourist visa or for any kind of reentry, you've got to deal with a number of ministries. It's not just tourism. You've got to deal with the Department of Foreign Affairs in terms of allowing visas, that process. You have to deal with immigration. You have to deal with civil aviation because you have to open the airports as well, public health. So there's a lot of interministerial guidance which is needed, and that's still kind of the sticking point, is because you need the buy-in. And at the end of the day, you need the buy-in from the people. And there's still a lot of what we call a fear factor, really. I think there's not, the hearts and minds of the Thai people are not on board yet for this situation. So again, there's a lot of moving parts, not clear yet.
Of course, the Thai people are the beneficiaries if and when the hotels and the airports reopen.
One would, ultimately, it would be, but I think they also suffer like everybody else is suffering, like the industry, because they don't understand how this will be done until there's clarity in that. As I said, you have to really win over the hearts and minds of the people. You have to explain the process, explain the risk, and explain the reward, explain how this process is going to take place. It's the mechanics, it's a process. And until they at least coordinate with all the other...
explaining?
Well, that has to be done, again, that goes back to Bangkok. It goes down, in terms of that process, and it has to go down through all those food chains. So it's really it's like working across the country lines, everything else. There's a lot of negotiation. There's a lot of discussion that has to be taking place. But it can't just be TAT in the hotels, because that's only one facet of this whole process. So it's a lot more complicated than that.
Bill, there are thousands of hotels and tens of hundreds of thousands, even millions of people affected by this in the hotel and hospitality industry. How on earth are the hotels surviving?
In our mind, it's dark, and it's going to get darker. I mean, I think, realistically, for the resort markets, it's really impossible for a market like, say, Phuket, where I'm sitting today, sub 10% domestic visitors traditionally. You're not going to survive, and you're going to be even in hotels with domestic tourism as well.
Yeah.
Only you can't depend on that. Even for Bangkok hotels, we see now from the original ASQ hotels, many of the larger hotels are saying they can't even break even unless they're alternative state quarantine hotels. So they have to do something. So they can't just sit there and say, we hope we have guests. That's why we think things probably is going to get worse till it gets better. That's the reality.
Bill, in the webinars that your company and other companies have been organising, you've been talking a lot about a new model for the hotel industry. What is this new model?
I think certainly in terms of, I think, what we're going through now, we haven't seen. It's not a similar case to SARS or to the global financial crisis, or even the Tom Yum Goon crisis of 1997. It's going to take a number of years to recover. So, that's going to be a process. For us to get back where we are, it's not a matter of 12 months or 18 months or 2 years. It's 3 to 4 years. So the new model is less. Basically, how do you make money on less? How does this industry prosper, and how does this industry move ahead? And what happens to the millions of people who were engaged in tourism? What are they going to do next? So it's a larger economic issue. As I said, it's a national issue, it's an international issue. Thailand's not alone in this. Every country in the world is facing this who's been caught up in the pandemic. So it becomes an economic issue.
What is a consultant company like you telling hotels they should be doing to try and survive this? Is there anything they can fundamentally change, or weaknesses you see in the hospitality industry that need addressing?
Old cash. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, at this time, expect that you're going to have to fund things for a very long time, because, again, in the resort markets, you're possibly going to lose this high season. Be prepared for the long run. Take a long-term view. Whatever you're going to do, act now, because it's not going to magically. There's no magic. There's no fairy dust. You're going to do it. Take a long-term view. Talk to your bankers. Prepare your financing. Create a model where you say, we may be operating on 50% occupancy for 2 to 3 years. That's the reality of it. Make those choices and prepare your business for the worst. Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Okay, it sounds like what we're doing in our business. Bill, tell us about the tourist spots in Thailand that are being most affected. I mean, there's the obvious ones like Phuket and Koh Samui, which are islands and literally cut off by the closure of the airports. But what other areas are being affected as well?
Oh, I mean, there's no area not affected, even, in terms of, Saturday is the best day of the week because, there's occupancies on Saturdays. But again, if you go to Chiang Mai, certainly these markets were very dependent on the Chinese markets. There's been there's over 1 million hotel rooms in Thailand. It's a large supply. So virtually everywhere is impacted, but certainly the markets whereby there's a large supply of hotel rooms, certainly. I mean, Hua Hin, everybody says Hua Hin's doing fine, but also there are gaps in there because Hua Hin's quite a big market, but it's also not necessarily indicative of all of Thailand. But certainly for us, Chiang Mai is a big hotel market. Certainly, Khao Lak certainly is another hotel market. I think one of the problems is hotels are being forced to open as well because you have people, the banks take a view is that you have an ongoing business, you have to open to take your bank debt. So banks are forcing hotels to open amidst this crisis, saying you got to stay open to lose money. So that's one of the problems.
I suppose a place like Pattaya has got the advantage of being just a 2-hour drive from Bangkok, so at least it's getting some of that weekend traffic.
Correct, but as I said, that's not enough. Ultimately, that's not going to solve the problem. As I said, there's only so many Thai holidays, there's only much stimulus. At the end of the day, the longer this drags, the more people will eventually say we've got to conserve our money. Talking to people already, they're saying it's great having the vacations and everything else. And I think the problem for hotels is, and Marissa Sukosol from Thai Hotel Association talked about, the hotels are so stressed. 5 stars are selling at 3-star rates. So what's happening to all the 3- and 4-star hotels? Because they have no guests, because if you can buy a 5-star hotel at 3-star price, what about the other guys? You can't fill those rooms. There simply is no people. There aren't people to go there. So that's a larger crisis. Just
outside Thailand, which are the areas that are being most fundamentally hit? I'm thinking places like Bali.
Certainly Indonesia. Indonesia is certainly taking a big hit. We've seen certainly the Philippines now in terms of the quarantine process and the inability to move around the country. Malaysia as well. Again, we see, weekend traffic in certain locations picking up, but, you're not going to be able to sustain this on a broader perspective. I think for us, the key thing that we're also looking at is airlines. You can't stay there if you can't get there. And what impact is this crisis going to play upon? Because you can say, fine, we want to recover, but what happens when you don't have the airline seats? You come to Phuket a lot. You're no longer going to get on a 777 on Thai Airways coming to Phuket. You're going to be flying on A310, which has much less seats. So the seat capacity, that's going to dictate the recovery process as well. That's why it's longer, because it's going to take years and years for the airline industry to recover.
It's a real chicken and egg thing, isn't it? I mean, the hotels aren't going to open until the airlines start flying, and the airlines are not going to fly until the hotels are open.
Sure, but the airlines have to be viable too. In the airline industry, again, it's a matter of bailing things out. And this is much protracted. We used to be talking about what happens in 3 months, what happens in 6 months. Now all of a sudden we're talking about what's going to happen at the end of 2021. So how long is a bull string? That's what we're saying. Is how long is that now? Where are we planning for? Because there is no definitive end until we see the vaccine or we see something. There is no end game right now.
Bill, I'll leave you to get back to your C9hotelworks.com crystal ball. Thank you very much for talking to us on the Thaiger, and we'll catch up with you from time to time as this mess continues.
Okay, thanks, Tim, and stay safe. Take care.
Thanks, Bill.